Just on the other loanees, do you see the majority of those players' futures at United next season? I mean, Dean Henderson hasn't played for a long time, but he's coming back to the club.
Yeah, as I said, we loan them, not when they are of a certain age, but when the young players, when we loan them, the aim is that they get progression, that they get development, and to bring them back to be part of it, of our first squad and our first team. And
just on the goalkeeping situation, will David play this week, or have you given consideration to dropping him?
No, I don't have considerations about that.
Definitely play.
Neil, you've had a great first season in terms of winning a trophy and another final, but has it surprised you, the sort of expectation that there's still sort of question marks? Are we still going in the right? Is the club still going in the right direction? I mean, this club's also won 4 trophies in the last 6 or 7 years, but it's seen as being a bad time for Man United. Does this make this club different to everybody else, that expectation?
Oh yeah, I think expectations are higher here, but also we have to acknowledge where we were last season, and I think the last seasons, and we have to rebuild and to reconstruct, and I think we are in that process, and I think we are in the right direction, and you can see that in the way of play. We are more proactive. You can see it in, we won already 1 trophy, we are in another final. So yeah, I think we are in the right direction, and also we are in the top 4 in this moment, so we have to stay there. And yeah, but of course we have to get better every day, and so we have to work and improve. That is a demand on everyone in this club, the staff, the players especially, but also on anyone else.
Rob,
when you talk about the next stage of your rebuild, what you want the squad to look like next season, are you expecting players to want to come here regardless of whether you're in the Champions League, or is it so important that when you speak to players, players will say, you have to be in the Champions League for me to want to come here?
I see a big difference in comparison with last year. There were a lot of reservations when I spoke last year with players, and now many players they see in which the project, what's going on, the dynamic and the ambition in this project, and the quality especially in this project, and they are really keen to come. I noticed that.
James.
So just on that, do you think it was a harder sell last year, whereas this year it might be a bit easier to entice the targets you want?
It looks like there were a lot of reservations last year, a lot of doubts when we approached players, and this year had so many quality players. They really want to come.
And just the overall, as Neil was saying, has been good this season. There's been progress and direction. Have you got any concern when you look at recent performances, Brighton and West Ham, that the team are running out of energy at exactly the wrong time?
That is, was quite clear. That is the case, but we know what is the reason behind. But yeah, it's never been an excuse for such performances. But also, it's a reason. The squad looked fatigued and was fatigued. I could see it, but that was the cool thing. Now we had a week, and we have another week to the last week. So, and I noticed on the training ground the energy is back, and so we will give a better physical performance. I'm sure about that for tomorrow.
Jamie.
You always say you're convinced by your players. They've proven to you what they've done during the season, but now you're in these last 4 games. Is this a new test of courage for them, that they can hold their nerve in what is effectively, 3 or 4 game shootout, to qualify for the Champions League?
Yeah, but then I think there's always in football, and particularly top football, it's always a test. And we can take confidence and we can take belief because we have proven and we beat the best teams in the world. So, but it's a test of courage if we can do it, because we are in the right position and now we have to finish it. And that is a high demand, So it needs high standards. So definitely you need courage, but the players, me, we have to take responsibility for it. Clear.
It's definitely fair to say this is the first they've had this particular test, right? Because you've not managed these players at the end of a season when you need to qualify for the Champions League. So you yourself, you know, you can't be sure, can you, until you see what they do?
No. In this club, we have to do it for the first time. Yeah. So I did it a lot of times, and many players of us in this squad did it a lot of times in other clubs. But yeah, and we have to show it here. We have to prove it here. Yeah, clear.
Last question, Chris.
You mentioned before, Erik, about your home form this season. How much of a comfort and cause of optimism is it that you've got 3 of your last 4 games at home?
No, of course. It's we take that. We know that we are very strong at home. It's for opponent, it's not a great place to come, and we feel confident. We feel belief. And especially when we can create a togetherness with the fans, that ambience, it's even more tough for opponents. But it starts always with the team performance. It starts always with the quality of the way of play. So that is our responsibility to take that.
Just to clarify, you mentioned before that in the previous games that the errors that were made were down to a loss of focus. Is there any concern with David that the uncertainty over his future with the club and his contract has led to any of these kind of form issues recently?
Yeah, but also as a top football player, you are in such circumstances, and you have to deal with it. And that is yeah, on top. Every top football player, there is a high demand, and you have to accept that, and you have to deal with it. And the demand is you have to perform.
But do you think that was partly to blame for the
if that's a reason? No, I don't think, because David is so experienced that's not a reason. I can think about 1,001 reasons, but I don't think that's a reason.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.